Hello everybody, and in today's episode of Games with T, we are talking about some Nintendo Switch hidden gems. Now just for clarification, I really want to emphasize the word hidden here, as my goal today is to show you at least 75% of games that you have never heard of before. Kind of lofty expectations, so while games like Sea of Stars and El Shaddai are great new additions to the Nintendo Switch, they're not going to be present in this video. Like I said, I truly want to highlight some hidden gems. Most of these are going to be physical, but there are some digital games. Plus, just as a mention, you can play these games mostly anywhere you want to. There are probably one or two exclusives, and you'll see why. But play them wherever the hell you want, I don't really care. I played them on the Switch, so I wanted to talk about them. And with all that out of the way, let's get started with Pikuniku. A 2D puzzle platformer at heart, this is a really cool indie platformer. I love pretty much everything about it. It has that unique art design where you're walking around as some unknown creature, and all these sort of creatures and characters in the world are bizarre and really sort of create that fun atmosphere. There's a bit of a story, a bit of a theme going on with the game, but really that's not the highlight. It's just the 2D platforming, interacting with some of the people of the certain towns and places that you visit, also solving puzzles and trying to figure out what people want and need. And there are some boss battles in this game. Overall, when I was playing this game, I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. But I did. And as a bonus, it doesn't take too long to complete either. Pikuniku. Have you heard of it? Have you played it? Next up, let's talk about Arise: A Simple Story. What a pleasant surprise this game was. Now, let me tell you firsthand, this does not perform the greatest on the Nintendo Switch, so if you do happen to find it somewhere else and you want to play it somewhere else, by all means do so. But I played it on the Switch, that's why I'm highlighting it, like I mentioned before. I really enjoyed this story-themed, sort of a 3D puzzle platformer style of game, where you kind of relive the events of an old dying person, basically all the way from the beginning to his very end. And it's a really cool interactive game where you kind of manipulate time to sort of engage with the environment to solve puzzles, to get to your destinations, and along the way learn about some very interesting facts about what happened throughout this man's journey. I really like the theme, I like the gameplay mechanics, some really cool time manipulations where you can sort of change the environment to get to certain areas that you couldn't before. It's hard to explain, but a really well done indie platformer. Next up, let's talk about Rabbids: A Party of Legends. Now when I think about Ubisoft and Rabbids in particular, it reminds me of their mascot, their shovelware mascot. And while many would assume that that is the case here, and I did too for the most part, I can tell you that if you're playing this game with a family, friend, frenemy, or somebody other than just yourself, you are bound to have a good time. There are some really cool mini games in here that work perfectly for those big party occasions where you just want to get up and do something instead of just sitting around talking about, boring events or whatever the case may be. Now, this title is not reinventing the wheel in any way, shape, or form. A lot of the mini games you have played, they're very similar, move, dance, sort of your typical motion control stuff. But I actually had a really good time with this game, and perhaps you may too. On to another puzzle platformer, Carto. Have you heard of this one? I was very pleasantly surprised when I started playing this game. Very cool and unique premise. You are collecting pieces to the map, the same map that you're interacting with and solving puzzles on. And how you build your pieces on the map is also a really neat concept. You talk to the NPCs, they will give you some hints as to what they're looking for or where you need to go, and then you put your puzzle pieces accordingly. At times you're recycling the same pieces, at times you're kind of creating sort of a aura or environment that will eventually lead to a new place, new discovery, or even a new tile on the map. This is a really cool concept, and I'm having so much fun playing it. Yes, this is one game that I've not beaten yet, but I've gotten far enough in the game to where I can tell you for sure that this is a must-play hidden gem. Carto. Be sure to check it out. Now I have talked about Omori before. I did a rare and collectible games and I mentioned this game, but I don't think I really highlighted the reason why I like Omori so much. It is a very dark and twisted RPG that seemingly plays like a happy-go-lucky game, especially in the beginning, but as things progress you kind of realize that something is really off. And when you learn more and more about the characters, more and more about the story, and whatever is going on, you realize that the depth of which this game goes into as far as its storytelling is outstanding. I like the environments too, like the characters of course. The battle system is very old school, and so is kind of the overall objective, where to go, what to do. The game doesn't hold your hand. You kind of have to figure out things on your own. But the game itself is very dark and twisted, especially when you get to the end and realize what is going on. I kind of had an idea of what was happening, but when I learned about everything, I was kind of shocked. And this game is one of those unique RPGs that kind of makes you think about a game once you've beaten it, and sort of question what was going through the developers' heads as they were sort of writing the story for this. Definitely a unique and, in my opinion, must-play RPG. Have you guys heard of Jenny LeClue? I had not either, but when I found out about this game and started playing through it, I could not let go. The production values, the voice acting, the puzzle solving, the interaction with other people is simply through the roof. I really enjoyed this small indie title that has a very enjoyable premise. You are a detective solving a murder. What else could possibly be better than that? Now, based on what I've read and heard, this game plays a lot like Detective Pikachu. I have never really played Detective Pikachu, but I played through the entirety of Jenny LeClue and thoroughly enjoyed the overall story. Like I said, the presentation, the puzzle mechanics, the characters that you interact with, some of the mini games, etc, etc. I don't know why this game never got a physical, but if it ever does, I'm definitely picking this one up. You should definitely check it out as well on the eShop or wherever, as this game regularly goes on sale. I don't know what it goes for right now, but man, what a pleasant surprise. And with that, folks, we are done with another episode of Nintendo Switch Hidden Gems. I hope that you have not played or heard of most of these games. But if you have, do let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about some of these games. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.